It's time for the shop report with
Barbershop Jay.
What up, sports fans? Welcome to the Shop Report. I'm Barbershop Jay. I'll be your host for the day. Here's what's happening. Of course, we want to remind you the Shop Report is brought to you by Rocket Digital Media. It's the one-stop shop for all your digital marketing needs. You can look them up on Facebook at RDM Detroit, 1D, 2 E's, Detroit, or you can slide on over to the website, rocketdigital.net. That's ROCKIT digital.net. And make sure when you're there, while you're there, you tell them to be as Jay sent you. And for my folk out there in TV land, if you want to leave your questions or comments during today's program, by all means, please do so. We will throw it up on the screen. And y'all know what's coming next. If you're one of them folks who wants to leave a question or comment that's indignant or ignorant in nature, it won't be seen on this screen. Matter of fact, here's what you'll get.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
With that being said, joining me on the program today is my cat from up north. You know what? I'm telling you right now, man. I'll be glad when Brother Rich, because I'm tired of Denzel Washington calling me, man. Denzel, I can't get you your job back, man. Brother Rich done took it and he done ran with it, okay? Sort of like the Purdue Boilermaker train. Oh, sorry, my fault. You was wearing the sweatshirt. I'm sorry about that. I just had to throw that in there. So anyway, in lieu of Brother Rich, we got Double J. I don't know what he's going to say. But anyway, joining us from on the other side of the pond, my man from up north, Joey James, a.k.a. Double J. Where's your intro at? Oh, my gosh. Oh, here you go. Tell the people what you say.
Prayers up to Damar Hamlin.
Oh, yeah. We're getting ready to discuss that. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. In the meantime, you know, until we should have a few other folks joining us. D Gully from the CO Lumbus, and I'm sure TJ will be piping in a minute here from the locker room. But until then, let us start the show. Our first item on the menu is, of course, as my esteemed co-host just aforementioned there, if you would, Bills safety Damar Hamlin suffers cardiac arrest on the field versus Bengals. And what was that? The Monday night game?
Correct.
The Monday night game, yeah. And obviously, we all know by now the game was postponed. Listen, man, we've had conversations. I mean, how long have we been doing this since you've been here? We've had this conversation about people who they don't see professional athletes as people. For the most part, they can't separate fact from fiction, if you would. They see professional athletes as, man, that guy cost me a game in fantasy, he messed me up because I didn't get the FanDuel. Or on the flip side, you know, if you want to go a little further down the road, we hear things like, man, he can't never stay on the field. Man, he always stay hurt. And again, because we have a good friend of the show who I was actually speaking with earlier, he sent me some information. What I didn't know is the young man's heart stopped twice. Okay. But aside from that, our friend and colleague of the show said, hey, man, you're going to always have your ignorant folks out there. Okay. Folks who, you know, sit in front of the TV screen. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, oh, yeah. I mean, but you know what, though? I talked to Gully earlier about what Skip said, and he had an interesting take on it. If he joins us, I'll let him explain it, because I don't even want to attempt to. But you all bear with me, because I got a lot I'm trying to get to in all of this, you know, so my thoughts don't slip away from me here. But because I'll mention something about Skip in particular. Well, about him and the school that he went to. I know a couple of other folks that went to Vanderbilt, if you would. And I sat next to one of them on the sports panel I was on some years ago. And they are all the Vanderbilt sports personalities who graduated from the University of Vanderbilt, they have an obtuse arrogance about them. Okay, we got a comment coming in. We'll get to your comment here in a second. I just wanted to finish right quick. So, because I know a friend of the show, remember I've said on more than one occasion, he invited me over to his house once to watch the Super Bowl. And this guy I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, he's a former Cleveland Brown and a Baltimore Raven. Played under Bill Belichick here in Cleveland before the Browns made the move to Baltimore. He made the move with them, apparently, obviously. But anyway, as long as I had known him and been around him, I told him this today. I said, man, I had never noticed your fingers. He was an offensive lineman, by the way, and again played at Grambling under Eddie Robinson. And if you've ever watched ESPN or NFL Live or whatever, sometimes I see him on that. Booger McFarland. Have you ever noticed because he like most people and myself included, they talk with their hands. He talks with his hands. Look at his fingers on his left hand, on Booger's left hand. My friends are maybe 10 times worse. I said, Herman, I don't see how you even reach to grab a cup or a glass or whatever. And he said, man, if you think the fingers are bad, that's nothing. Look up Mark Shreleth, the guy who played for the Denver Broncos. Do you know how many knee surgeries this guy had?
I met him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at least 25 knee surgeries. So my point in saying all this is this, people. Can we have and maintain some perspective? I get it. We're watching sports, but in particular football and especially the NFL. I mean, can we have some empathy like we do in this young man's case for all other players who go out there? Because ask yourself this question. We're watching guys who do what? Play a violent game. Do those two words even seem to go in the same sentence? Violent game? Does that make sense? No, it does not. It's a car crash. Despite all of these rule changes and all these things that take some of the violence out of the game, this is what we saw with the Bills safety. Mr. Hamlin is a tragic and painful reminder that they are people too. Okay? So I will never question a professional athlete when he asks for more money. Okay? I will never say about a professional athlete, especially a football player, hey, man, that guy can't never stay on the field. He always stay hurt. I'm not going to do that. That's crass, if you ask me. Well, go ahead, Double J. We'll have you say. Well, let me get to this comment right quick, and then I'll let you weigh in here. What we got here? Oh, Mrs. Alva, shout out to Mrs. Alva always weighing in. Yeah, shout out to the first responders during that game. And that's another thing. I'm glad she mentioned that. I mean, I know all sports have some sort of medical response teams, readily or at the ready, right? But is football the only sport where you actually see the players on the sidelines and the ambulance? No.
Technically, basketball has it too, and so does hockey. But hockey, it's just in the
yeah. But you don't see what I'm saying is when you look at an NFL game or a football game, you look behind the players standing on the sidelines and the benches. You see the ambulance park right there. Is what I mean.
Well, usually they're in the tunnel. That's the thing.
Okay, gotcha.
But to your point, yes, it's typically seen. And I'm going to be honest. I brought this up actually when all this was going on because I was, I too, I'm going to stop my thought there. I was having a rough day as a Boilermaker. That Monday was not good.
Oh yeah.
So I just literally turned it on as this unfolded. So talk about just
sobering,
bad. Oh yeah, it was like that loss isn't that bad no more.
You know what's interesting? Let me ask you this question because my friend I talked to that played for the Browns earlier, he mentioned a good point. I don't know what podcast it was on, but he said he saw a podcast with not Keyshawn Johnson, Terrell Owens.
Yeah,
and he said Terrell Owens brought up a good point about the hit, about the collision. He said, was it T. Higgins or was it Chase? Okay, T. Higgins had Hamlin was stuck between a rock and a hard place. He said because of Terrell Owens' point was because of all the rule changes, this is like a ripple effect. Because the defender what does he do in a bang bang moment? He can't he can't go to the crown, he can't lower. So we see what happened when T. Higgins did what the defender can't do. So
right,
what
which
does the
was
NFL
lower his shoulder
do?
and go into him.
Exactly. If the defender does that, we already know that's you get kicked out the game or what?
Well, here's the interesting point, and we would have to almost watch it because I didn't see that particular clip, but
I don't want to see it again.
I get what his point was.
Yeah.
Would that have been targeting defensively?
Yes.
So he led with the crown of his helmet.
Well,
I thought from the angle that I seen that it was still, I'm going to fight you to get more yards, and that's where the blunt force kind of trauma went, kind of like this, like an angle, rather than straight with the head.
Well, okay. Well, maybe I have to see. But see, it's so.
And I don't want to watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't either. No, I don't either. You all, ladies and gentlemen, you all have to bear with me. I'm coming down with everybody in my house got a cold. You know, we got folks who walk outside. In our weather here in Ohio has been, last week it was 25 inches of snow and minus 88 degrees. And then the following week it was 80 degrees plus, and everybody was wearing tank tops and stuff. So you got to forgive me. I think I got I'm catching the remnants here of the cold. Nothing major. I've already been checked it out. There's nothing major, but yeah. So I'm taking my vitamin C's and my calciums and all that good stuff. But anywho, so if I sound a little raspy or whatnot, that's what it's due to. Yes, I'm coming down with a cold. But
so here's
I don't want to see it again.
Right. Yeah, I don't either. And something that it made me think of that I told you guys in the chat was really one of two things. The first is they used to incorporate the ambulance in the video game in Madden when it was Madden 64.
Oh, did they?
Madden 64 for, this is going to sound like ancient history for most people these days, but
yeah,
when the injury was severe enough, and that was how you knew it was severe enough.
Okay.
It would come out there and it would take them away.
Okay. Gotcha.
Otherwise, they'd roll around and whatnot, and life would go on. What was you used the word sobering, and I was there. I brought up to you guys in the chat that I was there for Kevin's last play, and I was just coming in. I was late, so I'm in the concourse walking, and I can see as the crowd's like yelling because he was running for like 15 yards, and so I'm like, this is awesome. I could tell it's him, and then all of a sudden, as I'm going down the rows, I don't see him anymore. And this is something I think that a lot of the general public forget. So you talk about they're human beings, and we forget that they are the modern day gladiators of their time. But
shout out to my man D-Runk, man. Where you been, man?
I know.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? We've been missing some of that good action. You say, hey, Double J, we only played Blitz on 64. D-Runk, what you think about what happened to Hamlin, man? Go ahead, Double J, finish while we wait for him to respond.
And so ultimately, you have those family wristbands on at the time because that was a preseason game. I came in from a different section than I normally would.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not, basically I got to see his last play, and you never knew, as they say, NFL stands for not for long. All the statistics say, but you have to put your mind into the lens of a family member that, regardless that, I think it was Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark brought up that it was his dream since it was 8 years, he was a kid.
Hold that thought.
Mm-hmm.
You have to put yourself in the mindset of the family members, right? Or in the family member's shoes. That's the problem with the average fan. You get, most fans, they don't want to think that far. All they care about is, man, I was leading my league in fantasy points, and now this is about to. And I mean, I know you don't pick individual defensive players or nothing like that, but you get what I'm trying to. If they had the Bills defense or whatever it is,
well, in some leagues you do.
Okay. Well, was that PPR leagues maybe?
Well, so they have the choice. They can have an individual defensive player, but just one.
Okay, so but I guess all in all, what I'm saying is because I heard people at my job talking about how suspending the game. We're gonna get to that too in a minute. Whether you think they should play it again, but that's all they talked about. They gave Hamlin and what happened to him this much attention. Oh man, that was messed up. But then and I'm like, seriously? Since COVID, you know how many coworkers, man, we've lost.
You're conditioned. That's my point here. That's why I gave the Coliseum example, because gladiators, I said the overwhelming survive, but that's most notably known for people that did not.
Yeah, so exactly.
It is. You hear the saying, listen to the sayings, right? Next man up.
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
It takes every bit of what you've been conditioned to say and believe. I'm going to die for this.
Yeah. D-Runk, man, I thought he died on the field. Yeah, I was shocked out of my mind. And he weighs in again. All I'm gonna say is if he would have died on the field, the game would have never been the same. You know, that's a good point. When I saw Stephon Diggs crying, I assumed the worst plus the CPR. Yeah, bruh. But back to something else you just said, D-Runk. This is why, you know, when you on here, you always throw out some good ones to keep the show rolling. You take us down another road, and that's always good. You said here, wait. Oh, no. My bad. Forgive me. Sorry, y'all. He said the game would have never been the same had he died. That's a good question. Even though since what took place, the hit that took place, the collision that took place until today, the reports are that the young man is doing better than when this first happened. So that's a good sign. But to D-Runk's point, somewhat, even with that, is the game still the same? Because the question was about them not playing the game. When would they play the game? But excuse me. And again, to another one of his D-Runk's points, you saw the emotional, reactions to not just the Bills players, but the Bengals players. How do you go back? And forgive me, I'm gonna use an analogy here, and this is no malice. I do not mean this. I'm just trying to make the point, trying to get people to understand. You have to look past the manifest. Stop looking at these guys. These dudes do not play badminton, okay, or volleyball or cornhole. No disrespect to those sports. But if you're a player and you see that happen in that moment, and you already know the nature of the sport that you play anyway, how do you go back out there? How's that not? And when you're playing football at that level, especially, your mind has to be on go hard on every play.
Well, you're right. It's you go 110%. You go in with the mindset of you're supposed to, that at each play could be your last. Again, all these metaphors they have merit. It's just often forgotten.
Yeah.
And so again, to the point where I even use the example with KJ, it's you're right about the other team. That there's this instant ripple effect. I always bring up to Megan that the first thing you see teams do after the fact, she had no idea, was that they pray after the game.
Oh, she didn't know that?
No.
Well, they used to show that, but they stopped showing. Well, they showed it yesterday. Not. Yeah, but well, that's another story for another day, But yeah, they used to show that all the time. All guys, they always, and then, I mean, they still do. Again, they just don't show it anymore. D-Runk you got a question. This is a good one too, man. Yeah. Was this a Hamlin issue or a football issue?
No, it's a football issue.
You think? Okay, well, I think if I'm D-Runk, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you say a Hamlin issue, I think back to Reggie Lewis,
right,
for the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
Like, was this some preconditions, if I'm saying that right, that the doctors, because I know these guys get wellness checks or look check. Maybe did they not see it? Did they not check thoroughly enough? I don't know. You know what I mean?
So for what I was
pre-existing conditions is what I'm saying.
Is that it wasn't a pre-existing condition. It was simply that we all apparently have this kind of, I'm going to use the example of the train, if you will, and that caboose, in between the caboose and essentially that engine, is that perfect spot. And he just happened to get hit in that perfect spot that we all have, and
sort of like getting hit in the temple,
right,
by a haymaker, so to speak.
But apparently our if you guys didn't know, your heart acts independent. That's why you hear brokenhearted, and it's legitimate.
Yeah, preconditions is what he meant.
You can feel it.
Okay.
So your heart is very unique in that sense. So again, he just got hit literally at the right place at the wrong, at the wrong time.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know, man. Prayers up for the young man. Again, having a close friend who played in the league, and having gone to the Browns training camp a time or two and hobnobbing behind the scenes with the players. And then you're watching guys like, you think about the CTE issue, and more recently the NFL finally coming out saying there was race norming, when it comes to diagnosing Caucasian players, former players versus the African players, saying that the cognitive issue wasn't the same, level wasn't the same or whatever. And they came out and said, yeah, we was wrong, obviously. And you think of Junior Seau, and I can't think of the Bengals safety who killed himself. And it's been, the Earl Campbells. And I seen a documentary with Jerome Bettis and Earl Campbell. Earl Campbell could barely get up the stairs and all of that, So I get it. These guys, they start off playing this game, if you want to call it that again, at an early age. And they get sort of conditioned to keep going. All they see is the NFL and the big TV and all of that kind of stuff. But you don't really think about the aftermath until after the fact. Okay? So it's just knowing these guys and seeing these guys, man. I just have I have a respect for the people underneath the helmet as much as I do the sport, because it is a sport of sorts. You know what I mean? And we do watch it. I played it as a kid and all of that, so it's in my DNA too, and that kind of stuff. But I understand too well.
We say it all the time that it's always forgotten, right? That they're viewed as video game players.
I know, exactly. Yeah, they say every NFL hit is like a car accident. D-Runk, let me tell you something, man. And Miss Alva, we'll get to your comment here in a second. Excuse me. I was at a Browns training camp once, and due to a local sports personality I was a guest of, so I was at a point on the field where most of your regular fans, and I'm not saying I was somebody special or nothing like that, but I was a special guest that day. And I've had the pleasure of being special guest on more than one occasion. But anyway, I was standing at a portion of the field where doing the training camp. They were practicing. And in one part of the field, the kickers are doing whatever it is that they're doing. And in another part of the field, the guys who are kind of injured or riding the bikes or whatever it is. But then there are a portion of the field where they're playing with pads. This was that portion of practice where they're playing with pads. It was the running back at the time was Travis Prentice. I think, where did he go? To Wisconsin?
That sounds right.
Wisconsin, I believe. And Wally Rainier. I know Wally Rainier went to Virginia. He was a linebacker, middle linebacker. Bruh, I kid you not. This is why I say, anytime you're watching the NFL or football, college, it don't matter in general, but again, especially NFL, just be mindful of perspective of that word or term, whatever you want to call it. Be mindful of that. Bruh, where I'm standing at, the offense was going this way, okay? The defense was going this way. So the offense is to my left, but the defense is to my right. Let's just say that as I'm watching, okay? They do a running play to the right, to my side where I'm standing. And where I was standing, it was just this thin red like rope. I mean, really thin. And Travis Prentice is coming. It's like some sort of sweep or whatever it is, okay? He's running right. While Lee is coming to meet him, they're coming like at a, one of them type of deals. While Lee's coming around his corner, Travis is coming around his corner. Man, listen, let me tell you something right here, right now, not today, tomorrow, or next week, but right in this moment. Man, he tackled that guy, man. And I don't mean to be graphic or disrespectful to nobody on here, out there watching, listening, because you all know our rules when it comes to the program. But just to give you a visual, man, I couldn't wear them underwear ever again. Them guys came that close to me. You ever heard people talk about when a bomb goes off or earthquake, the concussion, like the blast could be felt from, man, that's when I knew in that moment, them grown men. Them are grown men. And they playing that, even the bums we call considered bums by NFL standards, they playing that at a high level, man. You hear what I'm trying to tell you? It's amazing to me that more guys don't get hurt more often and are able to come back week after week after week and put their body subject to that kind of stuff again, because it is a car crash. Let's get to Miss Alva's comment, then you can weigh in, Double J. Let's see what she said here. The issue was a football issue. Let's not forget the NFL thought that it would be okay to go back out and play football after 5 minutes. Yeah. Okay. What say you to that, Double J?
Well, that's just it, right? I'm sitting here with the Arthur fist at the player who I felt Kevin was going out of bounds. I still haven't forgiven him. Right? You so when you think about it, like you didn't need to push him. And he was already kind of giving himself up. So when you look at if T. Higgins would have killed him, he would have lived with them forever.
Yeah, he would his career would have been affected too. Again, psychologically.
It still might be. He's going to have to think about the next time he gets the ball, right, and turns to go upfield.
Yes, he's going to be hesitant. Where can you do that in the NFL?
Do they have to teach receivers now to don't hit him right here. Go low.
But see, how do you do that?
Well,
it's almost like again at the Mercedes-Benz crash testing site when they bring the car back 100 yards or whatever it is.
Yeah. So I've watched. So my dad used to work for within the proving grounds of FCA. So Chrysler. I used to watch those.
For the people that don't know, what does FCA stand for?
So that's Fiat Chrysler.
Okay, got you.
And at the time it was Daimler Chrysler.
Right.
So,
I remember.
I actually have witnessed some of those car crashes at different, miles per hour and up close, and personal. And
okay, so do you think that the people who sit behind, don't they sit behind some sort of glass booth or something like that, and they press the buttons, make the car launch the car? Yep. Do you think right before the car hits the wall that they can stop it?
No, they try.
Momentum is momentum.
And that's why they have to do it at every different angle to get a different understanding of how physics is going to react.
D-Runk went again. No, I don't. Y'all think if Hamlin Hill's up, he will play football again, or is he done? I think he's done, bro. Like Shazier. I think he's done. I don't think, listen, if he loves his mother, and I'm not saying that's like rhetorical, sort of speak. That's not literal. Come on, man. You know doggone well. Because she jumped in the ambulance. You hear what I'm saying?
Well, that's the point. That's that part that I'm trying to get people to see through a lens that I actually was in, which was I got there, I'm looking, scanning, he's not there. So it's not as graphic but the panic, the anxiety, you know something's wrong.
Thank you. And all you can think is the worst.
So everyone felt like everyone in the world that's seen that on TV was exposed to that. Oh my God, they're doing CPR on this guy in front of us.
Shout out to Gully. Shout out to my neighbor Gully.
Typically, this is the stuff that you would have to.
What's up?
In the locker room would see it. We go down into the tunnel. And and that's all after the fact. This is the part that people don't see, and it was on display this time around. That's really your only difference.
Yeah.
So we have to see these guys. Remember when they get carted off, Deion Burks, kid out here, went to Belleville High School just a few hours earlier, gets hit. I was so close to when Johnny Knox played his last play where his head touched the back of his heels right in front of me. And I nearly threw up. So to your point about what you've seen with what those collisions seem like, when you see somebody, you just know it's bad. That was it.
Yeah. D-Runk weighing in again. He said this game was on ABC too. Everybody had access to it. Yeah. It wasn't like Amazon Prime. NFL got to make some changes. Not everybody got Amazon Prime, I don't think. I know I don't, so I couldn't tell you. Gully, what say you, man? We discussing the Bills safety, Hamlin, and what happened to him on that particular play. And whether or not I don't think he'll play again.
It's doubtful because I watched it and I couldn't tell. They look like a routine tackle,
Right.
And then when he got up, for him to get collapsed like that looked like a routine tackle. That looked like that was him playing football was just the ebb and flow. That could have happened. It seems that's the type of thing that could have happened if they were lining up for a play and right before hiking the ball, he kind of collapsed before the lead. I didn't see that the contact affected him, which and the reason why I'm bringing that up, I'm emphasizing because that's how scary it is. Like this, it was a football injury. Like suffice it to say, I don't let something like that happen directly, and that person's no longer here. I was in high school. It happened. I seen a play happen, and we didn't know it at the time, but his last on the field was it. You know, it was a routine tackle, but that was the last. That was it. And this to me looked like it. It's a very, very scary game, you know, to play, and it does remind us of the fragility of it all. Considering that playing a game so intense for our entertainment, we have to. I think we need to reflect on that, and you know, be more appreciative actually of what we're seeing or what we contain, and who is and who and what are expensing themselves to for our entertainment. You know, it's a humbling moment. It's above the game.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and to that point, to Fishback, we don't piggyback here. The Gully is going to rejoin us. He's having a few audio issues, technical difficulties there. The NFL brass, owners in particular, they treat players like commodity, and as do a lot of fans. You cost me my fantasy championship. You cost me my, you know what I'm trying? Listen, man, listen. Hey, when I was 9 and 10 years old, I used to get so upset when the Browns would lose in the last seconds or whatever it is. I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to eat my oatmeal. I didn't want to do none of that. But when you get to a stage in your life and age where it's okay to be a fan still, but if it don't go this way or that way or the way you expected it to, I mean, have a reaction, but be mindful, man. Get up and feed your kids. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? I had to get up and feed my kids. It's not, you can't, it's not that serious. This is not that serious. I mean, you know, to each his own. I'm not knocking nobody, but I mean, I seen guys gambling or whatever it is, man, $20, man, and one guy want to shoot another guy because he ain't giving us, man, listen, it's not that serious, man. Let's enjoy it for what it is for the moment and be glad our favorite players can play the next week. You get what I'm trying to tell you? Let's have some fun talking about this and that, whatever it is. But, man, at the end of the day, man, you know, some folks just take it too far. And, again, ownership to me especially, man, come on, man. They'll cut a player in a heartbeat. You know, they get because they the owners. I get it. You know what you could do. Okay, but, I mean, the players, man, that's why I want the union, the NFLPA. It needs to be stronger. It definitely needs to be stronger because the players are the product. Nobody's buying Roger. Yeah. Nobody is buying Roger Goodell's jersey. Nobody's buying what's the guy, the Washington Commanders owner? Yeah, Daniel Potato Chip Snyder. Nobody's buying his jersey. You get what I'm trying to say? But yet and still, you know, the player got to get walked into the office sometime like, yeah, man, well, we know you tried hard, but we're cutting you today. And then it's just imagine a guy been with a team for, I don't know, let's say 3 or 4 years. And he got a wife and a couple kids. Well, you got to know. He got a house. He involved with the community. He going to work the next day, you know, and get cut. Now he get ready to get shipped to purgatory. So you got to move your, you know.
Hey, you know what? Man. You brought us something too, man. To think about that. Yeah, see, we ask a lot of these players because one of the, I mean, right? Isn't what is it called? The Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year.
Yeah, right? The Man of the Year award. Yep.
So that's an award that's given for players who are exemplary in the community, in addition to, you know, playing the game at a high level. So we ask a lot of those players outside of the field for all these millions of dollars. We ask them to be of good character, or what have you, just for an injury like this, or just for, you know, to be treated as a commodity. when it comes down to contracts and fielding the roster, you know, they become not people. They become less than people. They become a commodity. They become an asset and a liability, a check and a balance.
So you're saying like it's almost like the Man of the Year award is a contradiction?
It's a contradiction because it's not what they treat it like when it's a contract time.
Exactly. They're not treated like the Man of the Year then, huh?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. That was good stuff, Gully. Right quick before we move on to our playoff talk, which we do so today begrudgingly because of what happened to the young man. But again, I did say from earlier reports and from what I talked to somebody, they said the young man is doing better today than he was, you know, when this collision or this situation first occurred. So that's always a good sign, right? What do they do about the game now, the NFL? What do they do? It can't be a no contest because it's playoff implications.
Well, thankfully, the teams are seeded high enough that I think other tiebreakers, I feel like other tiebreakers are going. I feel like this game won't have to be decided in order for us to have a less than controversial result with the seeding, right? We're talking about the second and third seed, right, in the playoffs, right? At this time, first and third.
Well, yeah, I know for the Bills, if I'm not mistaken, had they won, they clinched the first and the bye.
Mm-hmm.
D-Runk, I'm gonna get to your comment in a second because I think that's a good.
So what happens if they were to win today? What happens if they were to win next week?
Who
would Buffalo still be in position to clinch if they win next week? Whatever you know, what I'm saying, if they resume about this game, are they still able to clinch if they win next week?
I don't know. What do you think, Double J? I'm not sure.
Well, the problem wasn't really with Buffalo. It was to an extent. And here's why. Because historically, Buffalo has struggled against Kansas City by going to Arrowhead. So really, it's the difference of playing the game in Buffalo versus playing the game in Kansas City, which, again, I don't want to go down that road by saying, because I know somebody will go down the road, right? If they go to Kansas City, let's just say they called a no contest, they played one less game. And KC, by way of win percentage, gets the home field advantage. They go on and they meet each other and they lose. You think? But remember, Buffalo's been to 4 consecutive Super Bowls, and so they're not going to be thrilled to have to go on the road when we could have. Maybe they will. Maybe this changed. I don't. But we're talking weeks from now. We already talked next man up. Now it's playoff time. We're putting all that stuff behind us. That's the struggle. Additionally, with Cincinnati, Baltimore still had a way to win the division.
Okay.
So it did matter.
Oh.
This is why it is very difficult as each passing day occurs. And I think what they're going to do is this. Should the results indicate that this game matters, they will revisit it next week.
Whoa. You said should the results of this upcoming weekend's games? Okay, so once this Sunday's Thursday, are they still doing Thursday night? Or was that last Thursday night game?
Yeah, it's totally unfair to those guys. If that's the case, then really, if this game got to be played, the only acceptable solution for me would be if they decide that Buffalo and Cincinnati game has to be played, then the entire playoff schedule needs to be pushed back. Because otherwise, you're going to have to. They're going to play on a Monday. When they going to play? They're going to have to play a Thursday and then a Monday, Thursday. They're going to have to do. Remember, Pittsburgh had to deal with that. In the pandemic year, they ended up playing 3 games in 11 days, but that was for them to get in the playoffs. Yeah, that was brutal for them.
That was brutal. Yeah. Let me get to one of these comments. Hold that thought. Let me get to D-Ron's comments. He's saying here, they say that the risk is worth the reward when it comes to football, and where a lot of these players come from, it is. Yeah. it's a system problem, but that's another story. True to that. Yep. And then he also weighing in. I heard it might be a week 19, just Buffalo Cincy to finish. Yeah, well,
Right.
And I'm telling you, here's why.
Yeah.
The Bills.
Yeah, but what happens to the Super Bowl then in that instance? Or is that even affected by that?
No, it wouldn't be because there's always a week. There's always a gap.
No,
Okay.
they could revise it though. They could have let's say like a legacy schedule, and then instead of keeping the Super Bowl on the week it's already set, they just play. Wait a minute. There's no Pro Bowl this year. There's no Pro Bowl this year. There's no Pro Bowl. There's no Pro Bowl games. There's no impact.
Okay, but they are still doing something in regard. They're having a flag football or something or another. The actual Pro Bowl game is gone, but they still have something in the Pro Bowl's place.
Right. I got a question about that anyway too when it comes to that at another time. But
okay, go ahead, Double J. What were you gonna say?
Yeah.
Oh no, go ahead, finish, Gully. Go ahead, finish.
No. I'm sorry, I interrupted Double J. My bad. Go ahead, Double J.
Go ahead.
Well, again, so the AFC South is decided this weekend.
Hold on.
It has no relevance. Go ahead.
Hold that thought. D-Runk weighing in. He's saying it's 2 weeks between Super Bowl and playoffs ending, one for Pro Bowl and one for nothing. And then that thing we were talking is the Pro Bowl skill competition. So could they squeeze it in that slot?
No,
yeah,
conference the conference championships, then Pro Bowl, then Super Bowl. So it's not 3 weeks. I think he implied it's like a 3 weeks. No, conference championship, Pro Bowl, then Super Bowl. But in this case, if there actually isn't an actual Pro Bowl game, there's not really an exercise that they would be disrupting.
Yeah, they're in a tizzy. What were you gonna say, Double J?
What it does mean?
I don't think it impacts it at all. I think from a scheduling standpoint, you could still fit it in. Remember, it's one game, and in theory, you're playing not even a full game. You're starting it from 7 minutes or so in the first quarter. So you already have it. It's more so about venue. They would be able to get it done. It's more so what happens, because again, if Kansas City goes on and wins, which was Kansas City going to play their starters, were they going to concede? We don't know. Now this forces the hand of everyone. So this decision is actually substantially bigger, because now
that's a good point.
Kansas City, based on the number of wins, it impacts San Diego, or the LA Chargers. It still impacts Baltimore, because again, they, in theory, if this game is not played, well, I mean, again, win percentage would give it to Cincinnati, but
what if
I don't.
D-Runk is asking, what if they call it they just call it a draw? Can you?
You could, and that might be the easiest solution. But the problem still remains that if Kansas City would now have to go and play their starters until they had a significant lead, depending on who they're playing, I have no idea.
Yeah, but that would be the case if the game actually ended in a tie. That would be the same result.
No, KC would get the number 1 seed.
No, I'm saying, so let's say Buffalo, Buffalo, Kansas City, Buffalo, Cincinnati, let's say it ended in a 24-24 tie. Wouldn't Kansas City still be in a conundrum of trying to figure out what they wanted to do, how they wanted to play it, go after the clinch any home field advantage or not?
They would have to play it. That would be the difference, is they know they have to now, because they don't have, again, that half point. So Buffalo being 12-3-1 is going to naturally play everyone that following week. Kansas City now says, well, we have to also, because we have to maintain that 0.5 game lead.
Right. So Kansas City holds the tiebreakers, is what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm. Potentially. I don't know. Didn't they play each other?
Kansas City played Cincinnati, and Cincinnati won. Wait a minute. Kansas City, didn't they? Wait a minute. Hold on. Kansas City didn't play Buffalo in the regular season this year?
I don't think so.
No, they did, and they lost.
Who lost?
Oh, whoa.
Buffalo beat Kansas City 24-20 in Arrowhead in October.
And Cincinnati
Whoa.
beat Kansas City.
Yeah.
So there you go. It has everything to do with the 1st through 3rd seed.
See that
You
Right.
game
have to
that
get
game
them
got
out
heavy
there.
implications.
Yeah.
So
it was
how
the
do you
wrong
call
game.
how do you call that a no contest then?
You can't.
Or a draw?
You can't.
Now you're going
You
to weigh
can't.
the morals of the people. Hey, we're going to do the right thing. We're the NFL. You guys told us to stop playing after that 5-minute warm up. So we're going to just call this a tie. And
No. The right thing.
Eaten alive if they do that.
Well, no. The right thing to do was to stop play for that day. No, the right thing to do was to stop to end play for that day.
Yeah,
that was the right. Now that the day is over with. Go ahead.
So why didn't they move it to tomorrow? If they knew if he didn't die overnight, why didn't they just move it to the next day?
Well, because it's not. It's definitely centered around him, but it's not all him.
Well, he ain't gonna be all right today, tomorrow, the next day, or the next week. He's still
nah. You still get. Yeah,
no, but you
still got to be able to process that what happened. Yeah,
right.
you got to process what happened.
No.
What'd you say?
What I'm saying. No, what I'm saying
alive.
to you. No, listen. Listen, what I'm saying to you. I get that, but if you saw as the camera was panning amongst all the players and whatnot, them guys were not in the right frame of mind to play that day or the next day. Huh?
So when are they going to be? Now,
you got to give them a week.
I just watch an Iowa player say I'm leaving for mental health reasons because of anxiety. It might be 2 games, 5 games. He did the red fish, blue fish, one fish. He did a Dr. Seuss on the way out. And so how are these guys going to be?
But listen, here's what I'm saying.
He didn't have anybody.
Here's what I'm saying to you, Double J. We already discussed that the game is violent. That's I have a hard time even processing that. A violent game, right?
That's right.
But it's one thing to see a player take a big hit and kind of have to be on the board or whatever. Then later on he get a thumbs up, whatever. But this guy, think about this now, and they all know this by now. We're just now kind of getting it. This guy's heart stopped twice. That's bigger than any potential, broken leg, broken limb.
So call it a tie.
Well, I'm not, but hold on. But there are also some reports out there that some of the Bills players and Bengals players have said, okay, they would like to go ahead and play the game. I get that.
Which is it? Come on, what are we doing?
I'm
look, I told you. Oh no, we lost him.
Yeah, he'll come back. Yeah. Oh, D-Rock. Oh man, don't do me like that, man. Don't do me like that, man. I thought we was boys, baby. Man. Why is he calling me Jay Bayless? What the heck did I say?
I'm thinking it's me because
he called you all double Jay Bayless. Oh, okay, yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
One of us
Get him.
has to be the voice of the unpopular opinion, which is because it exists. And this is why I'm putting it out there, and why I could have been in law, but you're not. The fact of the matter is, I literally watched someone win their fantasy title on that play, and then he said he was disgusted with himself after he realized what happened after the fact. Now they took the points away, so he lost. So it's up to commissioners around the world to decide what to do. So as you pointed out.
But I'm listening to what I'm saying to you, Double J. That whole mental thing in sport is a deal. Depending on what sport, it's a bigger deal than others. Let me tell you why. When I ruptured my patella tendon, the first time, I did it twice. Okay, the first time. I was I had to learn how to walk again, all that kind of stuff. The rehab was brutal. It wasn't even an injury. It was so much as the rehab. It was brutal. But I was still young enough in those days. I could still play. But my mind would not let me get. Nope. It would not let me get back on the court because I felt like every time I jumped, I was going to do it again. And if you ask anybody, and I'm not saying I was no Hall of Fame, Nipsey Russell, whatever the case may be, Nate Archibald type player, nothing like that. I was decent. You know what I'm saying? A little bit better than decent. I'm going to give myself that. I ain't going to disparage myself here. But
here we go.
I was a quick twitch. I was a fast guy. They used to call me Lake Show because fast break was my thing. Get out, jump high, then. But I did not want to. I did not want to see a basketball. I didn't want to see 2K, 1K, no K. Take K out the alphabet altogether. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want no parts of it because there is a psychological hurdle, and that's basketball. We're not talking about the Mercedes-Benz. What was that crash site that your dad worked at? We're not talking about that for a living. And then a guy who is not a teammate, but he's of the brethren. He's a part of the brotherhood. He almost dies. That takes it to a level, man, that you just tough to fathom. So how do you fix your mind to go back out there in 24 hours to play? You just can't do it.
What a wonderful thing. It becomes about mental health now. Now we're forced into a conversation about mental health. I just gave the example of the Iowa basketball player. His dad is the coach.
Yeah,
his
but
dad is the coach, and he
I don't think that's a mental health. I don't think that's a mental health issue per se.
What do you mean? They have to overcome this. All of them, whether it's 24 hours, 48 hours, or we'll keep adding them up. And
yeah, D-Runk said, no, I'm talking about Double J, but it's some truth to it though. Yeah, it is D-Runk. Yeah, Jay Bayless over here. I'm glad it wasn't me. Some people say Buffalo had a possession and Cincinnati had a possession, so they call it a Cincy win. Well, yeah, you know what? You finish your thought, Double J. But what was the score when it all happened? Because I don't even remember the score. 7-3 Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Could you give the win to Cincinnati? This ain't baseball. You can't call it after 7.
Well, and that's the thing. It was still the first quarter.
That's what I'm saying. You could not do that. Folks in Buffalo would be heated.
That's why I'm saying. So you tell me what happens first. Are they going to mentally overcome it? That's why I said the fact that he is alive by scientific definition. It's time to get going. I don't know why they're waiting. I get what happened. But the fact is, okay, when Ryan Shazier got hurt like that, it wasn't, that was very similar. People were all tore up in their minds, and they kept playing.
Yeah, I know, but Ryan Shazier didn't. His heart didn't stop twice. That's what I'm saying. What happened to Ryan Shazier was tragic. But to find out, man, that this guy, okay, what happened to Ryan Shazier? Was there any in the aftermath, and as brutal as it was, hey, I'm so glad because he could have been paralyzed for life. Got it.
Well, wait a minute. What about the quarterback?
There was nothing said about him possibly dying.
Well, then wait a minute. Then I'll point it to the quarterback that threw away $31 million to try to come back.
Who? Jamarcus
Russell
from
Washington. No, Jamarcus Russell. He was selling lean. Come on. Guy couldn't. They gave him a blank videotape, and he didn't. He said he watched a good game film.
Yeah,
Don't get me started.
Oh, you talking about Alex Smith?
Yes, he had $31 million in insurance money just to stay home. He said, "Nope, I'm going to keep rehabbing, looking like like Forrest Gump."
Well, that was him. That was on him right there.
But here's the thing: when he got hurt,
did you see pictures of his leg?
Yes, when he got hurt, he was going to die. I've seen the documentary. They told him that you are dying.
Because of the blood vessels and things of that nature, or whatever the case may be. Yeah.
So this is why I'm saying that was on full display, and that game never ceased. It never stopped. They never had to do CPR, but it was equally as life-threatening.
Yeah, but this feels different, though.
It does, and I'm not taking away from that.
Oh, boy. Oh, Lord. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, speaker for Paul Mitchell Hairstylist Products. TJ from the locker room. What's up?
What's happening? Did y'all play my intro? Y'all should
absolutely not. And we will not play your intro. It's 72 minutes into the show. If you don't show up, listen. Just like they tell you on StreamYard, they say Facebook won't allow you to start the show 10 minutes after the fact. If you come in 77 minutes after the fact, your intro, it's the expiration date on intros being shown. Okay, you got to show up in a timely fashion.
Make him mad, Double J.
He ain't gonna make me mad. He ain't gonna make me mad because I'm telling you right now, if you play that intro, I'm canceling it. How about that?
Push the button.
And I don't celebrate Christmas.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Thank you.
Anywho.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anywho, we're discussing what happened to the Bills, Damar Hamlin,
Oh,
And
yeah, that's crazy.
okay, so we're at the point now, this stage in the show, where do they play the game or what?
TJ, here's what happens. If it's a tie, Baltimore can no longer win the division. If it's a tie, since it forces Kansas City to play their starters to win their game this weekend. Otherwise, they could potentially lose the number 1 seed. If they play it, then of course we get closure. But otherwise, we have no real solution. I pointed out Alex Smith's injury and how that was equally as life-threatening. It was just different. And our host acknowledged it was different. So
No, I don't think.
What do you do?
It wasn't.
No,
equal.
I'm saying Hamlin's case just feels different.
No, Hamlin's case was different. His heart stopped for 9 minutes on the field. He had to get brought back to life twice. The man was dead on the field.
Well, that's different. Yeah, it is different. He did die. You're right.
Yeah, see that? Okay, that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, so then we get to the mental health part.
Hold on. But wait a minute. So you keep saying mental health. Hold on. Let me ask TJ. If you a Bills or a Bengals player, and you seen that, you was right there with that, and you saw the emotions from everybody, when would you want to play? When would you want to resume that game?
Well, it won't be that week. It would be they said after the regular season. I heard some things like that after the regular season that everybody else have a bye week, let them play, and then you just cancel the Super Bowl's bye week. That way everything's on schedule.
Okay, that makes sense.
And they said in the past, Super Bowls didn't have bye week, so I would think it was for something like that, just in case something like that occurred.
So you don't have media week anymore in the Super Bowl?
I mean, you don't have to give them 1 day.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need a whole week for media week.
You really don't.
Wait a minute. This is a spectacle. This is like WrestleMania.
Hey, but listen, hold it. Yes, it's a spectacle, but let's not stop there. Why is it a spectacle? They made it a spectacle, just like they do these talk shows. Before any game, like college football playoff games, for instance, you have a pregame show before a pregame show, before a pregame show, before a pregame show, before the show. How you don't need that many pregame shows with the same people. No, wait a minute.
See, this is where I gotta be apparently the voice for capitalism and remind you this is why the contracts exist. There's certain elements that have to be fulfilled. People come from around the world for this, which means they don't want to be there for 24 hours.
Hey, media day is a circus anyway. You don't need a week for media day, really. I'm sure if they could put a man on the moon, they could figure out how to satisfy this situation and not have media.
Yeah, but we're not in charge. So.
Okay, well, my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But that's what I said too. But I mean, I like that scenario as well too. That's what I said, man. You got to give guys.
So wait a minute. You're going to tell us that in 2 weeks from now, on one Saturday, Sunday of your choosing,
and you're gonna be there.
There's going to be this random day. Okay, you don't think the eyes of the entire world that's going to probably draw close to Super Bowl numbers to watch those two.
Yeah, because it's not the norm.
Yeah,
everybody.
You gotta make everybody got to make an adjustment.
Now, additionally, what about we brought up
everybody got to make an adjustment. That's a good point.
Wait a minute. Okay, but what about the fact of the matter? Fact remains, this is a brutal sport, and that's why we're going to potentially push this a couple weeks. An injury that could happen today could be cleared by playoff time.
Where are you going with this?
Meaning, if someone significant, Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen, Jamar Chase, insert notable player here, were to get injured 2 weeks from now, you just stunted the likelihood of that team's success in the actual playoffs that matter.
Yeah, but you can't really say that because that can happen on any play, on any game, on any day.
But the difference being that they would have
any given Sunday, though.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just foresee. Look, these people are going to complain no matter how we spin this.
Okay, D-Runk is saying, question, what happens if another incident happens like this on Sunday where CPR is needed? Then you might as well just cancel the rest of the season. Because that, I mean, no, you can. Oh, wow. No. No.
Well,
At the end
okay.
of the
I
day,
think if
this is why we
yikes.
got an extra week to prepare for situations like this. I'm pretty
Yeah, I
sure
think so.
this would be like one of the reasons, like they put that space between the extra week.
Yeah. All right. For once, why am I agreeing with TJ? Oh, man.
Well, because I
I
had
talk about D Mitchell 71.
Because we're doing that. We're not doing that today. I
Bruh,
told you
why
that
would
already,
you
man.
wait 3 years to talk about a 71?
Okay, well, go ahead, man.
Happened?
Go ahead. You got this, ladies and gentlemen, the first ever TJ speaking for Paul Mitchell Salon Hair Care Products. His 5 minutes of fame.
J,
Go.
You see what I'm saying, man? I posted a picture of his 71, like like Welp did in the locker room.
That's right.
First thing comes out of Brother Rich's mouth is some negative stuff. And then the second thing came out was negative. Then the third is this man right here, high fiving him, praising.
Well, here's something I want to point out.
Huh?
I want to point this out in contrast to those guys, because I was busy with the house stuff that I couldn't respond. I was hearing the phone going off like crazy. And so I took a look at it, and I remember exactly where I was when Kobe did what he did. And I remember saying to myself, and not just, wasn't just me, my first mental thought was agreed upon with the general public, which was, unlike Wilt, where, as you've put out, and so many others, that it was plumbers and and drug addicts, that instead this was in the modern game. And I don't know how we can celebrate the one in 2006 where he torched Jalen Rose. He just, Southwest Zone, Jalen Rose was absolutely just eaten alive. This is the same guy who locked up Michael Jordan. But Game 7, and Larry Bird gave Mike a favor, did Mike a favor, and pulled out the guy who was locking him up.
So let me ask you this question: how many players since the NBA's inception? Do you all know when NBA was first started? Okay, I didn't think so. Not without Wikipedia. How many players have not only
1921?
No, no. Put your hand back in the light socket and give your hair a recharge. How many players in the history of this NBA, regardless of era, how many players on the top 75 did what these three guys did? I'm not good sitting here. I'm not about to nitpick.
Three. That's my point.
Listen, but in other words, 71, 81, and 100 is to be saluted and applauded, regardless of the era.
So why you didn't do it?
Right.
I did.
What do you mean? You spent half a day tearing him in half.
No, listen, because listen. No. I tore him in half. I tore him in half. I tore him in half because of what he did not answer to what I put up previous. He was talking about. Listen, I put up the team ranking stuff about defense in the league.
Take the tweet down, Skip Bayless. Take the tweet down.
Okay, yeah, got you. Yeah, no, you mean TJ Bayless. That's what you mean.
Listen, man.
D-Runk say, who's better, D Booker or D Mitchell? Both have 70-point
TJ,
games.
Let him answer.
Yeah, let him answer with his
D Mitchell.
negative self.
Why?
Because he has 71.
No. You said Mitchell or Book?
You ain't hear what I said? Look, you so busy listening with your mouth instead of your ears, you so ready to respond. No. What you saying no to? What did I say? Since you know what I said, no.
I just asked you what you said, Snowflake.
I know. No, don't ask me what you said when you already was giving a response. I said D Mitchell. But here's the killer part, Double J. He making a case out of something from nothing, because nothing from nothing leaves. This new math is whooping him up. Yeah, if y'all want to learn how to, you better learn how to add. Yeah, most def. But anyway, he trying to make a case. Now here it is. He's a terrible attorney. Here it is. His client, 71. He didn't even bring up the main thing that would have got his client off. Okay.
I didn't have to. It was undisputable evidence against your claim.
Okay, no. No, first of
Indisputable
all,
evidence against your claim, Snowflake. Just
you're
stop.
trying to mix one with the other. We were talking about defense in the today BA overall before you even mentioned the 71.
Ooh, I'm so
That
glad you
thread
said
that we
that.
got is 44 pages long. You want to be selective about which one you picked out to try to add to and take away from. This ain't a subtraction by addition and an add to and subtract a 5. Come on, man. Don't play me like that.
Why you
I
acting
said to
all
you,
hostile? I whooped you earlier.
this is not
with the
hostile.
word.
This is not
I
hostile.
whipped
This
you-
is called
I whipped you
theatrics.
earlier with the
It's
word.
called theatrics.
No,
It's called
I
theatrics.
whipped you earlier. You got all loud in front
This
of
is called
everybody.
theatrics.
I'm whooping you now. This is what
Oh,
I do.
please.
Hang on a
absolutely.
second. I'm so glad you said that because there's an article that was put out today about the NBA seeing unprecedented scoring.
Uh-huh.
I seen it.
Yeah.
I seen it. They said how many 40-point games they came out
In 1
this
week
year
alone. Yeah.
versus 2000 and what 12.
That's right. So there were
Let him tell it. Ain't nobody playing defense.
just
No,
10
what I
weeks
said,
in-
no.
okay.
I said, how is it based on the power rankings currently? How are the Denver Nuggets at 1 and they average 117 points per game, but they give up 114? You're
So-
3 points better on offense than you are defense, but you're telling me you're playing defense when I gave you 2003, 2004? The point differentials between points scored and points scored against was 10 or 12?
I
Come
already
on, man.
told
Miss
you.
me
I
with
already
that.
answered that question for you
Miss me
earlier.
with that. Listen, you're confusing defense with a missed shot
No,
at the end of
I'm
the game to
confusing
win or
the
lose the
back
game.
end
A
with
missed shot,
parity is more
a
parity
miss.
in the league.
That's not parity. That's just
Hey,
folks putting up
the
too
other
many
day-
But
threes.
hang on,
Did you not
Mitchell's
say-
numbers were his game score of 60.80, which is the third best showing over the past 40 years.
Oh, but you know what, D-Ron, they're not going. They don't mention that. You see what I'm saying? They got selective amnesia. They ain't gonna talk about Clay dropping 54 with only 2 free throws. See what I'm saying? I said this. D. Mitchell's. I said first of all, missed shots. When you talk about defense, missed shots are not equivalent or equal to getting stops. Actual stops. They're not. Number 2, I said D. Mitchell 71
That
is gonna
is
be on his
impressive,
resume,
though.
regardless
I
of what
didn't
he
know
do.
that.
Regardless of what he do from here on out, that 71 is going to be on his resume. That 81 going to be on Kobe's resume. And that 100 going to be on Wilt's resume. Them the
Okay,
only 3
but-
players
but
that can
wait
make
a
that
minute.
claim.
What
Hold
if
on,
I
hold on.
told you?
But he
that-
said because of Wilt's competition, the 100 don't count. Yeah, that's what I said too.
That
What,
100 is impressive as an 81 in the modern.
oh
era.
man,
I'm just gonna
please.
be
Oh
honest.
man, please. Oh man.
That 100
please.
not more impressive than 71, 70, or
Do we
81.
hang on a second? Do we believe Kobe could get 100 in Wilt's
Of
era?
course he could have.
Okay, so
Man,
then you
Kobe
count,
could've
could,
got
but could
200,
could
bro.
Wilt get 81 in Kobe's era?
No.
I say
Seriously?
No.
Seriously?
No.
When you got seriously,
No.
when you got
No.
when
We
you
got a
got
lot of Wilt to
No.
Stilts out there.
listen.
No.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, he couldn't get it. Why? Based on what?
Because he's not playing with 5'5" players who's guarding him and hacking him the whole game.
His wingspan. He was the only. Will Chamberlain is the only dude ever to block Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's skyhook. His wingspan was 9 feet 78,
Well, and the fact of the matter is, Wilt
and his
really could've-
footwork was better than half the centers
But
in the
what's
league
Wilt's
now.
crutch? What was his crutch? That he wanted to be liked and
He
not
couldn't
the
shoot free
greatest?
throws.
That too.
Hey, and
But what
because
if I told you that the pace?
oh, this
of
ain't
play-
ESPN 30 for 30. What if I told you that this
Hold
guy
on,
had
he
green
couldn't
shoes
shoot
on and
free
he didn't
throws?
tie his orange shoes?
Excuse me. Hold on. He couldn't shoot free throws?
Nope.
How he get 81 in?
The same way he got 100.
No.
Man, it ain't a center in the league right now that can do nothing with Will Chamberlain. Man, is you crazy? Man, come on, man.
Man,
Ain't-
Embiid can't,
Embiid?
Embiid can't do
It
nothing.
ain't
with
a center. It ain't a center in the league that could do nothing with Will Chamberlain.
Will
It ain't a
Chamberlain
center in the
not
league
better
right
than-
now.
He's not better
D-Rock,
than the
will you
center
weigh
right
in?
now, bro. I don't
He
care
got
what
better.
you
He got better foot. He got better footwork than Joker, definitely. And he was much more durable than Anthony Band-Aid, who don't even want to play the position, because you got too many big men in this era today, BA, who think they still guards because they had a growth spurt. They don't want to play the center. Man, miss me with that. I ain't trying to hear it.
Man,
71,
Will can't.
81, 100 is to be lauded regardless of the era. Because it's only, how many other players is on that list to be even in that stratosphere?
I'm just saying, how many other players he put that 100 up on, or
I don't care.
In the Hall of Fame?
Listen, but you saying that like the Bulls?
Where are these players? Like, who was the players on the other team? Tell me they.
Name me the players on the Bulls yesterday.
Listen, man.
Name me the players on the Bulls
DeMar
yesterday.
DeRozan.
Double J.
And after that,
Vucevic.
Tell him.
Oh man, please, man, please.
Look,
That's what I'm trying to say. Don't try to diminish Will's competition. Don't try to diminish Will's competition. That Bulls team.
They trash. They were trash.
Who was trash?
Whoever he put that 100 up on.
Whoever. Okay, and so you trying to tell me the Bulls team ain't trash?
No, they not that trash. They hell.
Whoa. So in other words, either you doo-doo, but you some doo-doo, but you ain't really doo-doo. Man, no. I ain't trying to hear it.
The difference is in usage. You
cannot compare the competition, bro. Just stop it. It's not working.
I'm not comparing the competition. What I'm saying to you is I'm not looking at nothing else, no other variables except the fact that there's only been 3 dudes in the history of the NBA to put up astronomical numbers.
Man,
you ain't got nothing to do with who.
You. Look at who he put it up against.
Man, come on, man. Listen,
then you gonna say the Bulls trash? Donovan Mitchell, 6'2", 6'3". He's not.
I don't care what his height is. You said the same thing about Charles Barkley the last week because Charles 6'4", he couldn't do nothing. Man, your height ain't got nothing to do with it.
He don't want to do the real numbers.
No, because I got him.
He don't want to do the real numbers.
Listen,
height versus talent and all that. Put talent.
Okay, so let's go to height then.
So hang on a second. So it right away, it's from freedom of movement because the foul calls are not the answer. This is only of the 77
y'all sound like Kevin
seasons.
Stefanski right now, taking Nick Chubb out at the first and goal because of the analytics. But go ahead.
Only 8 seasons have had fewer foul calls, which we're at 20.5 this year. 19.3 was the lowest.
Tell them again, man.
So what's your point?
That it's all about, it's not just the freedom of movement, but it's also about ball dominant individuals, not just the unlocking of the 3-point line. I mean, it's the usage rates of these players. We're going to hit 16 that have 30
I'm
points.
looking at the fact that regardless of when it occurred, 71, 81, and 100 is to be applauded respectfully, period. I'm not about to go and open up this and say, well, he didn't tie his shoe because his shoestring was 2.8 centimeters longer than that guy. Man, stop it.
In the article itself.
You sound like just the other old people who want to hide the whole history. That's what it sounds like.
And here's why,
how
TJ.
I sound like the old people that want to hide the history, but you want to discredit the history.
Hang on. In the article itself.
Tell the whole story.
Listen.
Who was he playing against? Can I get a
I don't care.
name?
Listen, you act like listen. Okay, Donovan Mitchell, who was he playing against?
Hall of Famer. Andre Drummond.
It was a Hall of Famer on that team.
Hold on. You said it was a Hall of Famer on that team.
Yeah, it was a Hall of Famer.
Man, that Bulls team right now is trash. If DeMar DeRozan ain't on that team, they ain't even in the Eastern Conference no more.
But he
man,
is
stop, man. Man, stop, man. You act like Donovan Mitchell did that against the 98 Bulls with Scottie Pippen and Mike.
Why he got to do it against that team? Because
exactly.
You act like Kobe did his 81 against the best of the cream of the crop.
Okay, so based on the level of competition right now, where would you place that Bulls team at in the entire NBA?
But here's the problem. You're undervaluing?
I want him to answer that. And you talking about level of competition. The level of competition in that Bulls team outside of DeMar DeRozan, where would you place them at in this current NBA?
They're AC.
Man, okay, yeah, let's move on, man. Let's move on.
You asked me a question, I gave you an answer. Now you mad.
Man, stop it. They AC right now?
They might be. They
might be almost. No. Don't might be. That's like saying almost only counting hand grenades and horseshoes. Don't might be. Where they sitting at right now?
I can't see right now because.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know.
Here, hang on. I'm gonna read this to you guys.
You want to borrow my glasses?
So this is after I pointed out the foul call discrepancy. I point this out to combat the rhetoric that today's rules have bred soft scorers that supposedly couldn't survive in the tougher days of eras gone by. The truth is that the free throws were handed out more often back in the day. Just like the supremely skilled scorers we see
Stop
today.
it right there. The free throws is handed out more based on what?
Statistics.
What is he saying? He's saying that they handed out more back in the day based on what?
Based on this year's foul
The
calls.
numbers.
Yeah, the numbers.
Oh my gosh, man. Really? Oh
So
wow.
I know it's breaking your heart, Grandpa, but
It ain't breaking my heart because here's what we do. Here's
we
what
got some
again.
Billy Ray Cyrus.
No, here's what again. Because here's what happens. In the thread, you didn't read the part and the portions where I went back to 2014, your era, and that guy in that article said what? Thanks, Miss Alva. What did he say about the diminishing of defense?
Well, I'll get to that. I would love to.
Okay.
All right. So NBA defense has arguably never been better either. The versatility of today's top defenders is incredible.
Cook 'em.
Guarding across.
So whoa. So then why is
Cook 'em,
Kawhi
Jay.
Leonard?
Cook 'em.
So then how many two-way players? So then why is Kawhi Leonard considered the best two-way player in the league then?
Not no more.
Giannis
Giannis is the best two-way player in the league.
Who?
I would have said was.
Giannis, Greek Freak is the best two-way player in the league right now.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. How many two-way players? Why is there even a two-way player specification?
Well, you could thank 2K for that, in my opinion.
I don't care about 2K. Why is there a two-way player specification?
Okay, well, Scottie Pippen,
but
I don't know. Ask Scottie Pippen.
Yeah, okay, got you. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. Go ahead. Yeah, okay, got you. See, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Some of these things that are written, they sound like Staley for the Chargers. Exactly. Go look him up.
Not the Bears?
Hold on. What'd you say?
You heard what I said. Why is it that you can't hear me all of a sudden?
I thought that was the mascot. I thought you were talking about the mascot.
Because it sounds like a bunch of gibberish coming out, man.
All right.
Got you.
So guarding across the positional spectrum isn't so much a bonus anymore as it is a requirement. From a scheme standpoint, we have never seen such sophistication or connectivity.
Yeah, okay.
And these defenders have to do this without fouling at disproportional rates, which is evidenced by the small free throw numbers referenced above. They have proven largely successful in doing, which brings me to a point that is, in my opinion, worth considering as it pertains to this statistical boom.
Did he say his opinion?
Yes. It is not about
that sums it up right there.
Scorers hunting quick trigger whistles. It's about defenders avoiding them. From the landing space rule, protecting
shooters. You mean turn it sideways?
Right.
Okay, yeah, got you.
From the landing space rules protecting shooters to the well-chronicled disappearance of pretty much any contact at all with a ball handler, today's defender has to be, for the sake of his own survival, a careful, conservative hunter, ever respectful of space. This in turn leads to more rhythmic.
Explain Alvarado then, because you don't see.
I would say he's a personification of that. He's an very clever.
To the rule. He picks people up in the backcourt. If you are, he
sneaks up behind people when they ain't looking.
That's not all he does.
He look
that's
like
not
Patrick
all he
Beverly.
man. That's not all he do. That's one.
And he doesn't do it every possession. He's careful. He literally lives up to this. Careful, conservative hunter.
How often do you see him in the backcourt when the ball is inbounded?
Small percentage. It's there.
It's funny. Listen, man. It's funny that you told me.
How often do you see anybody? How often do you see anybody else in the backcourt when the ball is inbounded?
You see him
that plays the point guard position.
Not enough.
You see it time to time.
No, you don't see it enough. You don't see it nearly enough.
No, you don't see it enough.
No, I watch the games too. You don't see it enough.
Hang on. We're going to have to do a live where we watch a game of your choice.
1980. Listen, I watched it. 1984. The pace was.
Man, you can't watch the first 4 minutes of
and
a
they had a longer
game and then
no,
man, stop it.
That whole half,
man,
bro.
Listen. Don't lie, TJ. Don't lie.
I'm not lying.
Listen, don't lie, TJ. Your attention span ain't what it is, man. Don't sit there and lie. I've seen you.
No, don't try to move the goalpost. I told you.
I ain't moving the goalpost. You're not watching. I guarantee you're not watching no old school game in its entirety. I promise you're not doing that.
Game, bro.
Man, you watch the highlights.
No, I watched the game. It's
man, stop it, man.
1984.
Stop it.
Game 1.
Stop it. You didn't. Stop it.
The Lakers.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. You didn't do
And
that.
once
You didn't
I
watch
seen
that whole
Larry
game.
Bird start
You didn't
flopping
watch that whole
around,
game.
Once
You
I
didn't watch
watched
that.
Larry Bird
TJ,
start
I done
flopping,
seen you come in the locker room and sit down and get up, twist your hair, come back, do cartwheels, do somersaults. You can't sit still long enough.
But Barbershop,
Yeah.
you're implying that the contact
Your
that
jokes
took
ain't gonna
place
work, bro.
in the
I
past
ain't joking.
would have been is what respectfully good defense looks like.
No.
Because what even in the article, what it's saying is that this in turn leads to more rhythmic, less interrupted, and ultimately cleaner avenues. Those avenues were blocked.
Wait a minute, we're using rhythmic now? Oh my gosh. What is this, yoga? Pilates? It's more rhythmic. Man,
Boy, you got his jokes tonight, man.
no, I'm not
stand up.
joking. I'm not joking.
No,
you don't need to use,
get-
man.
hey,
You don't
man.
need, man. You don't need. You do
For
not.
those looking for this article, it's on CBS Sports.
Oh well, no wonder.
Please, if Brother Rick is out there, please chime in.
Anyway, but what I'm saying to you is this.
Backup. He needs backup.
Not absolutely. I don't. There's no need for backup for what? Man,
So
nobody coming to see you.
So you could say, oh, what he said. What he said.
Hey,
Yeah.
listen. Ain't
Thank
nobody.
you, Brother
listen,
Rick.
that's all you doing. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
Hey,
that's
man.
right. Yeah, okay, got you.
I got you out of your hookup. I must be Master P because I got the hookup. You feel me?
Gotcha.
I'll let you hear me.
Yeah, it's called theatrics.
Theatrics. That's what it is.
You let me spell it for you? Yeah, okay.
Hey,
anyway.
Put on the
I'm
symbol in the skies of LA.
Hey, I told him earlier I'm coming on this show and I'm bringing the thunder, man. I'm bringing the heat. I'm bringing the heat to you.
You're not Shea Alexander. I'm not worried about you, man.
He just got.
I do this intentionally.
Tonight. He just got dunked on crazy tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Got you. Yeah. Whatever you say, JJ Barea.
Move the goalpost all you want.
Hold on, real simple. The new NBA player skill levels is skill levels at his highest.
Let's go, Walt. Let's go, Walt.
Okay, Walt.
Walt in the building.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go, big Walt.
If you say so. Where you been at anyway, Walt?
Hey,
come on,
Walt,
man. You can't.
I needed you to be on this show so many times, bro.
Got you.
Episodes,
yeah, got you. Yeah, but that's the problem, though. That's the problem, though. People, they can misconstrue talent and athleticism for skill. That's what happens.
Listen, we're going to have to get Walt email. We're going to have to send you an invite, Walt. We're going to need you on the show, man.
That's right. Hey, anybody and everybody who goes to the barbershop. Anybody and everybody's welcome.
We need you to talk that talk.
Walk-ins, it don't matter. Walk-ins, all that, it don't matter. But see, this is what you do. Man, stop picking your hair, man. We really don't need that.
I'm only picking my hair because you can't do it. So I'm doing it for the both of us.
Oh, hell no. It's the disrespect I'm talking about. Anyway, shout out to D Mitch, Kobe, and Wilt for being three of thousands to be able to do what only they could do whenever it was. Thank you very much.
And D Book.
Okay, yeah, Andy Book. Okay, right.
You bring up a very valid point at the end there because that's how this article concludes. What we are watching this season is amazing stuff. It's not about the defense or the foul calls or the pace. It's about a league that has never been more stocked with all-time great offensive talent. I, too, miss a lot of things about the 80s and 90s era in NBA game, but from a pure skill standpoint, I can't imagine a better time to be an NBA fan.
Was I supposed to say something on that?
Ain't nothing you can say. No, it's no haterade for that. Ain't enough haterade in the world for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh no!
Oh man, he crying. Is he crying? Did he walk away and get a tissue?
Man, you got me messed up. I survived Shawshank. You never.
Hey, I tell you what, you ain't gonna survive my shank. I got a real shank at the house, right up under my couch.
Man, don't talk me to death. Anyway, let's move on. The second item on the menu for the day.
Yeah.
Georgia versus TCU for all the marbles. Who you got?
Man.
Well,
let me go first. Mine quick and short, man.
For what?
Georgia. They barely got away from Old State, but that's another.
Oh man,
story,
here we go. Barely got away.
Hey,
okay, yeah. All right. Yeah.
hey, man.
My man had the kick
hey,
on
listen,
all the
if
way
we
over
ain't
there.
have if we ain't have wheelchair Freddie kicking the field goal, they wouldn't have played right now.
Yeah, it's all y'all always got.
Like he was trying to hurry up and get to the ball drop.
Man, hey,
I felt for you, TJ.
They might well have Steve Urkel kicking the ball, bro.
Yeah, y'all always got an excuse, man.
Losers
make excuses.
That's literally the excuse, man.
Losers make excuses. Winners say check the scoreboard.
I did. I felt they missed
because Ohio State was up in that game, wasn't they?
Well, yeah, but there should have been a call on that Marvin Harrison hit since we're talking about safety.
Okay, well,
that was garbage that they pulled that back.
Yeah,
additionally, Ryan Day said he wanted to be aggressive. I did not like how they handled that call, knowing that kicker could kick like that. You got to know your personnel. So that I will fault Ryan Day on, because once Stroud started running, everything started opening up. I felt like he didn't do that in the Michigan game. It took him forever and a half to do it in this game.
Yeah, he ain't gonna last in the NFL being that scared.
He's gonna have to move. Otherwise, he's going to get eaten alive, because he's not going to have that kind of time in the NFL.
Well, the talk is that he'll be the number one pick.
Well, then he's going to learn.
I don't know how he compared to any other number one pick, but I'm not impressed with him. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be honest. I'm not impressed with him. I'm an Old State fan. I'm not impressed with him.
I know that's a first, because that's the first Ohio State fan I've heard say that about him.
He's not impressive. Give me Troy Smith over him.
But Troy Smith was my boy. Glenn DeVille, baby. Shout out to DeVille. Shout out to DeVille. Troy Smith, that was my boy, baby. Troy, your boy BSJ. Yeah, I got a feeling it's going to be a better game than what most folks think. And I've been singing Georgia's praises all year long. But I got a feeling TCU this is going to be an upset. Max Duggan ain't bad, man.
I'm going to point something out to you. Look at how the game was played against Kansas State versus how it was played against Michigan, how he specifically played it.
Yeah, he had a bad taste in his mouth from that Kansas State game. Yeah. Yeah, different. Yeah, he had a bad taste. He knew you can't leave nothing to chance. Because I think for some reason, I get the feeling they went in that Kansas State game kind of thinking that they was just going to show up. And then it got towards the end and they had to wake up and it was too late. They went into that Michigan game off the rip and said, no. You all see what happened to us last week. We almost didn't get in. You know what I'm trying to say? Because of that.
Man, it's time for Harbaugh to go, man. Go back to the NFL. You just can't cut it.
He is. I heard they're throwing $20 million at him.
The Colts?
Yeah. Well, between the Panthers.
Jackson. Oh yeah. Panthers. You right.
Now remember, this is the same Panthers franchise that owes the current Nebraska coach $15 million.
Hey, cry me a river about any NFL team owing somebody some money, because whoever owns the Panthers, tell me what his day job is. Because owning the Panthers is his hobby. I guarantee you that. Okay, so all right. And no, with all due respect to those who are no longer here, I can think of one said Mr. Benson, who owned the Saints and the Pelicans. All right, and go look at what his 9-to-5 quote unquote was. All right, he could afford 15 professional sports franchises. Yeah, cry me a river. I'm not. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Look at Stan Kroenke. He owns 15.
I mean, come on now. And you look at the stadiums that they built: Reliant, SoFi, So High. Excuse me, and all them other. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't feel for the owners and none of them. There's got to no team that got to pay that owe somebody. Pay the man, Shirley.
Yeah. Temple. For sure.
Okay. Yeah. Lastly, before we get out of here and everybody get some sleep for the night. Okay, I got to get up early in the day. We were going to discuss the AFC and NFC playoff picture go down the list. But because of obviously in light of what happened to my man Hamlin and things still kind of up in the air, excuse me. What we will do is discuss the 2 spots that are up for grabs. Hello. Okay, thank you. Oh my gosh, what are you doing over there? Settle down. Gather yourself, there, young fellow. We will discuss the 2 spots that are up for grabs in the AFC playoff race and the 1 spot up for grabs in the NFC. So starting with the NFC, as things stand currently, there's 1 spot, as I mentioned, up for grabs, playoff spot in the NFC. But 3 teams are vying for the 1 spot. I'm going to name them, and you tell me who do you think will get that last spot? Should things stay the same? I don't know how this next week and week after and all that stuff is going to play out. Those 3 teams, NFC teams, that is, Seahawks, Lions, Packers. TJ, who you think going to get that last spot?
It depends on the level of competition, which all things depend on.
Oh my gosh, man. Oh my God. Do the Houston Texans have a win?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, if the Houston Texans have a win, you know, okay. Have the
Can
Packers
I finish my answer though before you cut
Okay,
me off?
yeah, sorry. All right, I'm sorry. My apologies.
Dang. It depends on that, and also who has the tiebreaker. If they all had the same record and say they all win, I don't think they playing each other, are they?
So here's how this would work: the Seahawks get in with a win. The Lions get in with winning their game, and the
Mute
Seahawks
your mic, TJ.
lost. And the Packers get in with a win as well.
Whoa. Back that up. Say that again, Double J.
So Seahawks and Packers, if the
Seahawks win, they in.
Yep. They control their own destiny.
Okay, who do they play?
The LA Rams. And Matt Stafford is cleared to play.
Oh. I'm guessing we all gonna be Matt Stafford fans this upcoming Sunday. Yeah, what?
Well, does he owe the Lions one?
No, the Lions will win on their own merit. Thank you very much.
No, but
Hutchinson,
they can't get in. Hang on. Whoa. The Lions can't get in. The Lions have to win, and the Seahawks have to lose.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Maddie, holla at your boy. All right. Okay, let the Lions in, man. They deserve it. Is Amon St. Rod? Is he playing?
Yeah, he's in.
Okay. All right, good. And the Packers, what'd you say?
The Packers just have to win.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. The Green Bay Packers are like the Ohio State Buckeyes. They can lose to everybody, and all of a sudden, somehow, some way, when it's all said and done, they still in it.
Oh, they're in it, all right.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to hear this.
They may be the scariest team.
Oh, I'm gonna have to hear this from RB all week. Oh my gosh.
I won my fantasy league by and large thanks to the addition of Watson. And not to Sean Christian.
Oh boy. Okay, so TJ, you say Seahawks get in. Now he got his mic muted.
I don't know if y'all can hear me, but I picked Green Bay to get in.
Okay, you pick Green Bay to get in. Double J, who you picking to get in?
I think so too.
I'm going with the Lions.
You think the Lions are going to go win in Lambeau? We've seen this before.
Hey, there's a such thing as mojo.
I'm going to tell you something right now.
Oh, please.
This would be so. I told you guys, Peyton Manning, Peyton's Places on ESPN Plus. I'm going to plug it. He went and exercised the curse of Bobby Lane in mid-October, and the Lions went on this crazy run after that.
Okay.
If you want to prove this out, to go into Lambeau and the Fighting Dan Campbell's pulled that off.
The Lions go play the Packers?
Oh, yeah, Sunday night. They flexed it to Sunday night in Lambeau.
Oh, I'm rolling with the Lions, baby. I'm rolling with the Lions. They coming to get Sharon Rodgers.
Stick
Go
your
get him,
chest
Hutch.
out, why don't you? Stick your chest out.
Now, remember what Sharon Rodgers just did.
Tell them how you really feel.
Justin Jefferson and friends.
I don't care. Listen, I don't trust the Vikings. That defense is porous and has been porous all season long. Kirk Cousins has played better than what we've known him to play, or how we've known him to play. Am I saying that right? I don't trust the Vikings at all. Too many
he
one
played
score
like
games.
a Michigan State quarterback.
Yeah, too many. Oh wow. Miss Alva, Paige and Mrs. Alva. See what I'm saying?
He said it. He said it, not me.
I said I don't trust Kirk Cousins. I never said anything about alma maters. Okay, you said it, not me. Yeah, I don't trust the Vikings. Period. I like Justin Jefferson, obviously, but the Vikings defense, man, please. I mean, they've been hanging on by a thread all season long. That defense is terrible.
He got held to one catch, Barbershop.
That defense is terrible. Mrs. I just picked up your dinner too. Wow, yeah, Mrs.
No, it's not me.
Exactly. In other words, you know what that meant, don't you? It's meow mix for you tonight, buddy. Yeah. Okay. And in the AFC, while we wrap things up for this particular P portion of the P program, there are 2 spots up for grabs. And the teams are, drum roll, please. The Jags, the Patriots, the Dolphins, the Steelers, and barely hanging on are the Titans. Double J, who you got?
Right away from the AFC South is going to Jacksonville.
Yeah, because they were on the ropes early. What? What'd you say?
I was saying Duval. That's their thing.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. So the Jags, TJ's gone. All right. Nah, sorry. That's all right. It's all good. If you come back before we get out of here, we'll ask him. If not, then y'all, see us next week, God willing. You said the Jags, it's 2 spots now. You got the Patriots, Dolphins, Steelers, and Titans left.
But is that for no, it can't be for the division. It's literally the wild card. I'm gonna be honest. I think the Dolphins without Tua lose again. I think they lose and miss the playoffs. Pittsburgh, you got to understand. I hate that it had to come down to this, right? It's gonna be. This is why I keep saying Mike Tomlin is arguably the best coach in this era and that's better than Bill Belichick. This guy finds a way.
Whoa.
He turns crap into sugar.
Wait a minute. Turns
stuff into gold.
Wait a minute. Because what you just said a mouthful. What you just said right there lends itself across the broad spectrum of sports that we've been discussing since we've been doing this. And we talk about numbers and why the numbers are the focus. Because on paper, Bill Belichick has the numbers. His numbers, his resume, statistically, numerically, exponentially, in any other league, except for Bruce, shout out, are far greater than Tomlin's. But you're saying Tomlin is a better coach than Bill Belichick? It has to be based on what? The eye test.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's dealing with less. And again, he's got a rookie quarterback, right? He doesn't have noodle arm anymore. He's got
I'm recording this, right? You
these
know
guys
the show's
have been
being
going
recorded.
back and forth all year, and they have completely different styles of play.
Okay.
Ask any fantasy fantasy player that has Deontay Johnson or George Pickens. Speaking of Georgia Bulldogs, and watch their stats based on who's playing.
He's evolving. Oh, not evolving. Excuse me. He's really starting to branch out.
Oh, it was
to become the guy. Yeah. Okay.
He's
So in
next
other
year's
words,
steal. I'm telling you that now.
So in other words, like the guy who drives up with the Dodge Hellcat, it looks fast, it sounds fast, and most people don't look past that. And they're patting the guy on the back. Man, that's a cool car. But there's one person in the room that says, man, let me see what's under the hood. That's what you're saying about Mike Tomlin here, huh? Okay, versus Bill Belichick, huh? I can't believe the show is being recorded. Oh, I can't wait to play this back. Towards the end, when Knuckles rolls out of here, Knuckles McForehead dips out of here. Then then we got all these admissions. Anyway, so you got the Jags. That's the one one spot up for grabs, and you got the Steelers. Because despite what the numbers look like, it's something about that Steelers lore. You know that thing I talk about?
No, I believe in their defense. I think with TJ Watt, they're a different defense. He was hurt. He missed 7 weeks with the torn pec. He's flying out there.
Okay.
The only other player that looks that good defensively is George Karlaftis, who has 5 sacks in these last 5 weeks as well.
Well, the Chiefs better be thanking George because he's the reason why defensively they don't look like the sieve that they did, even though they went to the Super Bowl a couple of times. Their defense was atrocious. He single-handedly, I'll give him that, made the Kansas City Chiefs defense formidable, actually maybe could get a stop or two on somebody when necessary, if need be. And throw in Patrick Mahomes. I like the combination of the two. I'm going to say the Jags.
Uh-oh. Remember,
I'm gonna say the Steelers. I'm gonna say the Jags and the Steelers too.
So the thing with the Dolphins, they just signed Mike Glennon to the practice squad.
Okay,
Teddy Bridgewater's hand is hurt.
I know. I saw
not clear.
I saw that play. That signing Mike Glennon is like signing Brandon Whedon. What's the point? I mean, okay, it's just a signing. Okay, he's gonna have a uniform with his name on the back, and that's all it's gonna be. I tell you one thing. There's one team I think is complete in every other area across the board, up and down that roster, except for the quarterback position. But they actually had a quarterback that could have salvaged and saved their season and got them into the playoffs. Whereas before they, earlier, maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, they were in the thick of things. And now towards the end here, and that's the Jets. They should have put in Flacco.
They were winning with Mike White.
Yeah, but Flacco has he's Statue of Liberty back there, no question. But I just think with this Jets team, they did themselves a disservice by playing Wilson and White. They should have picked Flacco. Put it like this. Let's say Bill Belichick has that same Jets team with those same quarterbacks. Who do you think Bill Belichick's playing?
He would have played all of them, and then at some point he would have settled on one. Once he moved on from someone, he moves on from someone, and you could say that's the inexperience of Robert Saleh being there.
Joe Flacco would have been Bill's guy.
I think so too.
Because when you're with the playoffs on the line,
and
experience.
Look, that Thursday night game. This is what I mean about just that. What the difference of 1 week, right? That Thursday night game against Jacksonville, when they brought Zach back when Mike White was out, that should have been Flacco's game, and it would have probably remained Flacco from there on out. We would still probably be, we definitely would have still had this conversation about the Titans or the Jags because the 1 week still matters. It's based on the records being different. So my point is the Jets would have been in the conversation instead of on the outside looking in now.
I think so too. I think,
and that is where you put it on the coach. So he kept receipts, and that's fine, but you can fault yourself for that.
Because even though the team rallied around Mike White, I don't think he's the answer, nor do I think Zach Wilson is the answer. And you're right back where you started at, looking for a quarterback.
What, 20 years ago? Think about the Jets as it pertains to franchise quarterbacks. They've always grabbed people like who was Randy Moss's teammate? Randy Moss's teammate.
Oh, Dante Culpepper?
No. At Marshall.
Oh man, don't hate. Chad Pennington was all right.
Yeah, but that's my point. It's been that long.
Yeah, well, Ken O'Brien was good. Randy Todd was good. Was it Randy Todd? Todd something?
Ty Detmer?
No, not Ty Detmer. Todd. Todd. Todd was his last name.
I don't know. I can't. I would say that the Jets have not.
Yeah, Joe Namath was the best quarterback in Jets history to date.
And that's. I don't want to say that's sad, but
it's sad. What else you gonna say? It's just sad. It is. Right. Okay. And on that note, I leave you without a quote. It's been fun, but we got to run. Don't forget to check us out every Wednesday at 9 on the PM side right here on the Yard. Or y'all can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the shop's fan page, and of course, the YouTube. And make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. You know, the little bell. Ching-a-ling-ling. We'd be much obliged. And if that don't work, y'all can Google it. For my mans, Be Rich, Double J, TJ, D Gully, and all those who follow and support us, We say thank you. I'm Barbershop Jay, and you've been listening to the Shop Report. Remember, the next time y'all want to know what's really going on, man, come to the shop. Walk-ins are always welcome. Holla!